Welcome back to Beards and Brews. This week's review, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Fellas, this movie's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, what I'll say, the premise, the plot of this movie is good, but man, there's a lot of holes, there's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff, and to be honest, everything is kind of like rickety for the first 2/3 of the movie, but that last third is really fucking good.
I'm with you on that.
Just briefly, I think the biggest hindrance to this movie is tone. 1 second, it's wow, swashbuckling adventure. Next moment, oh my god, this guy was burned alive in front of me. Oh no.
Yes, because I had that conversation with you via the chat where I was like, man, this is a little spoofier than I remember.
I mean, they're having like a fight and everything, and a hammer gets thrown away, and some guy gets like bonked in the head. And the next scene, he's getting steamrolled by some like rock machine. So
yeah.
Then
you got fucking Short Round beating up more people than Indiana Jones does in the entire film in a single scene.
Oh yeah, he just, for some reason, takes out like 6 or 7 grown-ass men.
Yeah.
They had it coming.
He found one of those fucking ancient cans of whoop ass and opened it up.
No kidding. I mean, the kid was driving without a license. He's pretty badass. So.
All I'm saying is that kid at that age is a better driver than I am now. I don't have the confidence to run into a rickshaw driver and carry him around.
Not only that, but he was keeping total cool as like an entire gunfight was happening like 2 feet behind his head.
Yeah, he's like, whatever, shoot out the window. It's how we roll, right?
Yeah, he can keep total cool, but he can't stay fucking quiet when needs to be.
You know, he just loves Indy.
That he keeps triggering all those goddamn booty traps.
I understand that reference.
Well, the good old plot starts out, we're at a Chinese showgirl show, and there's all these Chinese girls on stage and just one white-ass blonde girl. And she's right up front, and evidently anything goes. Anything goes.
Oh. When this started, I was like, is fucking Cowboy Bebop coming on? What the fuck is going on?
It's either that or I had some like serious Fallout flashback. Crazy.
You've got Indiana Jones showing up looking like a James Bond. He's trying to look like James Bond here in this like
James Bond. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the hand in the pocket, the white tux top, and a little red boutonniere. He's got it.
For sure. And they're trying to get some kind of a deal going between him and some obvious Chinese gangsters, some real bad apples.
So whenever it shows those quote-unquote bad apples, I was like, holy shit, that's almost the exact way they shot the bad guy introduction scene in Samurai Cop.
Oh, yeah. I don't think like Samurai Cop even tried to do anything. So I think just stumbled upon like Temple of Doom.
Because I was just like, Samurai Cop.
It's like one of those things like, hey man, this part reminded me of Temple of Doom. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
It was an homage.
All I'm saying is, once Han Solo sits down and he's like, I'm looking for my mummy, it felt like a dream sequence in this motherfucker. I was like, it's so over the top, it's like a dream sequence or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's like a huge difference from like, we're not in the desert or forest somewhere looking for some thing. He's in the middle of the city, this really glamorous part of town, also seedy. It's really cool to see him in other places.
It's in no way a negative. This movie, despite all of its flaws, is fun as hell.
Yeah, which is like the postcard of all 3 Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. Just a good, fun adventure flick. And that's what all 3 of them are. So pretty much they've got a deal going on. They're going to trade something for a diamond, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It goes wrong. The bad guys slip a poison on him, point a gun at him. I don't know. Chaos ensues. He takes the girl hostage.
The waiter is also on his side and pulls a gun to help him try to get this antidote.
Yeah, and I like to call this guy Tall Round.
So that guy gets shot, and then whenever Indiana Jones realizes that he's been shot, his fucking face is so good. Like Harrison Ford's like, what? And then the crazy 88 show up and shit starts going crazy.
He did have like a little bit of a sweet moment. He's like, Indy, I'm the one to see the last adventure.
Yeah, but who the fuck was he?
Well, he's tall round.
Is he like a deleted scene from the first movie no one gave a fuck about? I mean,
No,
I had no
maybe-
attachment to this guy.
Maybe he's in all those the Young Adventures of Indiana Jones something things that I've never watched.
Indiana Jones and the tallest round. I don't even know why I'm harping on the guy so much. He doesn't deserve it.
Alright, like the first time with the tall round, it was whatever. But Indiana Jones and the tallest round, that's pretty good.
I would be laughing more if I remembered anything about this guy at all.
He's there.
Okay,
Just-
yeah.
There
That's
he is.
what I expected.
He's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just have all hell breaking loose in this cabaret Chinese showgirl show. There's people come out flinging knives, and a guy gets a flaming skewer thrown through him, and
I mean, for a guy who's poisoned, Indiana Jones still has a hell of an arm.
I don't know if I could throw a skewer through a fucking another human being, trying as hard as I could.
well, I guess you'll just have to try.
Try harder. Try again.
I don't have time to bleed.
So, he escapes this scene by diving out the window, and whenever he does, did any of, like, you guys go, huh, this looks like a seedy back alley in Blade Runner? Is this like an homage thing? Because they had like the fucking fluorescent lights, everything was super, but then again, you know, it is like Hong Kong or Japan or somewhere, I'm not really sure.
It's China. And I think they really want you to know this is China. Because they hop out, there's all this Chinese writing. They are abundantly Chinese.
Yeah, then they fall down, they hit a bunch of those little, like,
Awnings.
yeah, awnings, and his buddy Short Round just happens to be there in his car that who knows how he got.
Short
Secure.
Round, by the way, is like 8 years old, 9 years old. I don't know how old he is. But he's a
Solid
child.
5.
He is an absolute child. And he's the getaway driver.
This dude can drive like no other.
Yeah, and by the way, when Indy goes out the window, he brings the lady, Willie, with her. I don't know why the lady's name is Willie. I didn't fucking name her, but her name is Willie.
Throughout this entire film, because she's obsessed with diamonds throughout the entire film, I just refer to her as Diamond Doll. I preferred it better.
Well, you know, I guess Indy was thinking all hands on Willie.
Yeah. She's not even like that big of a prize.
She's anti-prize. She's the reason why this movie is considered the worst of the 3 Indiana Jones movies.
I would have left her behind.
On several occasions, I found her as the comic relief more painful. She only had like 2 or 3 scenes where I actually appreciated the nonsense she was doing.
I think I know which one you're talking about, yeah. But there's only one, I counted, one singular time where she was anywhere near useful in this movie. After that, melt the bitch. I don't fucking care. I hate her.
Well, we get the first inclination that she might be useless during this car chase. There's a car chasing behind them, the bad guy that from back at the show, and there's a car gunfight, and it looks all cool. They're driving through rickshaws and shit. It's real fun. And at one point, Indy's like, "Here, hold my gun for a second," so he could do something. I don't even remember. And Willie's just like, "Oh, it's hot. I'm gonna throw it out the window."
Yeah, she went full Ricky Bobby. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Fumbles it and just pours out into the street. Awesome.
Humble.
So yeah, at this point, you absolutely just should have said, "I'm done with this bitch."
Just throw the whole bitch away.
But instead, he winds up at the plane boss, the plane.
Yeah, it's just for some reason this plane is being set off by Mr. Dan Aykroyd with mustache.
Was it Dan Aykroyd? I was
That
seriously
was
like,
certainly Dan Aykroyd.
I was like, is that Dan Aykroyd? I almost paused it. And I was like, no, that's not Dan Aykroyd.
That's
He was
totally
there.
him.
He was there to search for crystal skulls.
Crystal Skull Vodka, that is. Our official podcast sponsor.
Don't say that. We're gonna get sued by Dan Aykroyd. They'll be like, aliens. Bigfoot's real.
Wait, Crystal Skull Vodka, is that really Dan Aykroyd?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was, okay. It's all coming together now, alright.
There we go. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Anyway, so they get in this plane that, for some reason, Indy just automatically knows to get on, but doesn't know who owns it. Turns out it's owned by the bad guy.
Yeah,
Lo Che or Lo whatever.
Lo mein noodles.
Chandler had that today.
I did. It was delicious.
It was a nice little cheeky thing. He's like, haha, sayonara, jerk. You know, says his name, but then he shuts the door of the plane. Oh, the plane's owned by him. Oops.
So then you get a gratuitous bad guy laugh.
But now I got to be happy because Indy gets him a wardrobe change into his classic attire, which I think looks fucking amazing. The look of Indiana Jones.
Outfit unlocked. Classic.
All right, so guys, I've got a gripe here. And it's got to do with geography.
Yeah.
Can we talk about maps here?
I'm going to point that here shortly anyways, but by all means, I want to hear your argument first.
All right, the flight is going from, we see it on the map. They show us a map from Shanghai.
Dracula travel map scene.
They show us going from Shanghai, which is where they started, to Chongqing, which is where they're going, evidently. And they show, all these scenes. You're passing by the Great Wall. The Great Wall is nowhere fucking near either one of those cities.
Yeah, but they could see it from space.
What kind of fucking airplane is that?
They're high as fuck.
Evidently.
Listen, this movie was made for people in the Midwest who are never going to leave their hometown. What the fuck ever.
Foreign things, honey.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
But they're headed toward Burma, across the Himalayas, or over the Himalayas.
They're heading towards Burma?
Yeah, you see it on the map. Headed.
For real? Are they taking guns? They ain't gonna change nothing.
I don't understand the reference.
They're at least.
They're headed toward Burma.
It's from Rambo. He's like going into Burma smuggling these people, and he's like, "What are you taking?" They're like, "Medicine." He's like, "You're not taking guns?" "No, they're not going to change nothing."
Oh, Rambo 2. Rambo harder.
Rambo harder? What?
They're headed toward Burma when the pilots decide that when the rest of the passengers are asleep, they're just gonna take the parachutes and just get out. Just
walk out the back of the plane.
Yeah.
Just I'ma head out.
I mean, talk about the long game. I mean, they've been in the air for what? Almost like
a few
hours and hours.
Yeah.
At this point, and they could have just shot him. Fuck it. No. It's like, and one guy was like, "Hey, I've got a great idea." 8 hours later, just whatever.
All I'm saying is that they fucking jump out of the plane. They have parachutes, mind you, but they jump out of the plane in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Middle of nowhere.
They're like, "Hey, we'll show you guys by stranding ourselves in the fucking Himalayas or wherever."
And the plane stays in the air for a little bit, long enough for everyone on the plane to wake up and be like, "Oh, we don't have pilots. What do we do? I guess we jump out onto this inflatable life raft because that makes sense. That's going to save you."
Well, at least Indy tried. I mean, it's not for the lack of trying, rather. Because he just gets in the pilot seat and he's like, can't be that hard. You got your mileage, you got your altimeter. Oh, fuel? Uh-oh, no fuel.
Well, I'm a head out.
Yeah. Dipset for sure. They grab up a life raft. It starts to self-inflate and they jump out the fucking plane. At this moment, all I could think was the memes is, you guys are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. The memes whenever there's, someone's doing something, then it freeze frames, it goes black and white, and it was like, at that moment, Timmy knew he fucked up. It's just like, that's all I could think.
And they don't just land. No, they just kind of scoot across the terrain through all these trees and all this foliage and whatever for a good while. I mean, this is like some crazy little Mario Kart thing they got on going.
Yeah, a lot of people pay money for ski lifts like that, to get up there and have little inner tube going down the mountain like that. People pay a lot of money for that over in Colorado.
Well, I'm just saying, we know where Cool Runnings got their plot now.
Jamaica?
All I'm saying is they jump out of this plane and wind up in India.
Yeah. So they covered more ground in this raft than they did in the plane. Snow to jungle in 30 seconds.
They rode down the entire Himalayas. and then into some Category 5 rapids, which a lot of people pay a lot of good money for that too.
On the beach.
But yeah, you ride into some Category 5 rapids, you have a little bit of fun there, and then once the rapids subside, bing bong, you're in India. How do you know it's India? Because there is a very obviously Indian-looking crypt keeper guy looking at you.
As soon as I saw him, I was like, why is there Doc Brown?
Fuck.
So anyways, after miles and miles and at this point kilometers of just washing down this river.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt you. At this point in time, India is a British colony. It's still miles.
Oh. Cheers for imperialism.
But yeah, he's picked up by the Brown, Dr. Brown, and praised as the Great White Hope.
Yeah, he takes Indiana Jones into the village, and you've got a scene very similar to the Misa scene from Game of Thrones, if you all know what I'm talking about there, when Khaleesi is the savior for everyone. And Willie still right with Dr. Jones, being a little dainty-ass bitch.
Yeah, disgusting.
This fucking woman. Okay, this village has had its like holy stone stolen, its children enslaved, and they still have the customary dignity to feed these people when they arrive. And this chick will not eat. And my wife is sitting on the couch next to me, watches this scene and goes, he needs to hit her. Man, feminism.
Dang. Yeah, like, even though it's just like whatever, gruel in a leaf, she's just like, I've had better gruel, excuse me.
Yeah, so he tells them that pretty much the stone has been stolen, a darkness has been cast on the village, yada yada yada. The village wells have dried up, the animals have died, their crops have died. Pretty much they're going to starve. On your way to Delhi, because that's where you're going, on your way to Delhi, would you please stop at this Pankot Palace and see the Maharaja and do a blessing or something, right?
I thought you pitched him a deal, hey, we'll show you the way to Delhi, just go ahead and fix our problem at this one place, please.
Yeah, get our stone back.
Yeah, more or less we will send you with a guide to Delhi if you just make a pit stop right here at this palace.
So they also get 3 elephants. Yay!
And this is where we have the actual plot. This is where the real plot of the movie starts.
Yeah, that little kid delivers a piece of the Kama Sutra to him.
Thank God, because otherwise he would have no idea what he was doing.
Nope.
Oh, no. One wrong move and Indy was a pretzel for the rest of his life.
My back. Kylo, come burn my spine in half.
Now my dick is on my shoulder.
Snakes. Why'd it have to be snakes?
So yeah, dying child falls into Indiana Jones's arms and gives him a parchment with this image.
Dick
I don't know what it was. I wasn't paying.
Kama Sutra.
It's just a dick butt.
They get on their way and they're riding elephants to Pankot Palace, and Willie's being a dumb bitch again.
Yeah, man, watch her beware. This is the most annoying part of the movie because this movie goes out of its way to just show Willie fucking off. I hate it.
Alright.
Oh, I don't like riding this elephant. Ooh, it smells bad too.
She's like, wah. But whenever they finally make camp, it made it kind of worth it that she gets terrorized by the giant bat and all this other shit. And then you get Short Round and Indy in the background with 0 fucks to give.
No.
They're not even paying attention to the fact that she is literally being attacked by wildlife. They're like, whatever, man.
She's not being attacked. Well, the wildlife is just hanging out, and she's freaking out about it. That is their space. They are in it.
I mean, as much as I hate this scene, it did kind of tickle me that just a little bit later the wildlife kind of has its revenge because the elephant that she rode in on is beating the shit out of her with her trunk the entire time. And she's just trying to just getting whapped in the back of the head, and she's trying to do her lines stop it. Fucking stop. And they kept it in the movie. Whatever.
It was pretty good because you could tell the elephant was giving her a good whap because it was picking up on the microphones puh, puh, puh. You can see it like vibrating her body, and she's like, "Stop!"
Pretty much, we learn here where Andy met Short Round. Short Round's family was killed when the Japanese invaded Shanghai, and Short Round was evidently trying to pickpocket Indy, and I guess that endeared him. So now they're buddies.
They're both a couple of rogues out having a good time.
Yeah.
Just remember, his name's Dr. Jones. Coin flip.
Dr.
Coin
Jones!
flip, that's what it is. Dr. Jones! Stu just said that. Take it home with you. So, to me, as I'm watching this, I went, man, this reminds me of something. What is it? It took me a second. I was like, holy shit, it's Chris Pratt's performance as Star-Lord. It's just Indiana Jones.
Oh, I can see that, yeah. Oh, maybe his entire career he's just stealing just Harrison Ford's act.
Maybe.
God, I hope so. We need a new one.
Oh, this one's broke.
No, it's just old. It's not that it doesn't work anymore. It's just old and out of touch.
I'm gonna get my plane and crash into a wall again.
I'm gonna get into this goddamn refrigerator.
No.
So, day 2 through the jungle, they get back on their way to Pankot Palace. There's more bats, and they run into some spooky statues and shit. There's some human finger necklaces strewn about, and they run into some locals who are spooked. I don't know. They end up stealing the elephants, and they end up walking the rest of the way to the palace.
We're also treated to a close-up of Harrison Ford's face. And it's as close as you could ever get to Harrison Ford's face without getting your eyes wet.
Oh, I was going to say that.
Damn it.
Yeah, it was a sweaty shot.
But then, they travel through the jungle, and apparently through this cursed jungle, it leads right to a road next to the Pancake Palace.
All roads lead to Pancake. Pancake? Alright. They lead to pancakes.
Pancake Palace. I mean, they're like, they call it something, but it sounds like Pancake Palace.
Ooh, is that what's underneath of it? Is that syrup?
Mayhaps.
Sounds like a waffly good time.
But he goes inside, and apparently no one lives in this town or this palace or whatever it is, except for like entertainers and guards.
It's like a prime minister's kind of like getaway or something like that. It's almost used as like an embassy.
Nothing in there but like belly dancers and dudes with knives.
Well, I mean, if you were a dude with a knife, would you rather be outside the palace or inside the palace with the belly dancers? I rest my case. Come on.
I mean, truth.
I mean, we can compromise. I'm talking belly knife here.
Ooh, or just dancing. You know how they roll the belly? They just roll it, and then eventually the belly rolls, and then a knife falls out.
We're going back to Videodrome with the knife actually inside the stomach.
Exactly, but was it really there?
I don't fucking know. I don't remember that movie.
I'd be about Indiana Jones in the new flesh. Just saying.
Oh no.
I think we've got the most ambitious crossover event of all time. See, like, anytime I see the Maharaja, and he's like a dainty little boy, but I hear him and I think, he's a dainty little girl.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's a child, but...
Is he overdubbed?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Like, I think it's a possibility, but, like, the voice does not match his body.
Not at all.
Maybe he's just like one of those, like, young boys with those fucking ridiculous prepubescent voices,
Did anyone else notice that while they're having dinner, right before they carve up the snake stuffed with eel, that you get to see Mario? Like, I guess Mario is visiting as well?
He was just checking the plumbing, so...
Ooh, nice.
But it's they do have an opportunity to get back to the good life once they get into the palace. There's belly dancers and shit. There's a British military captain who is also happens to be there on an inspection tour. And he is, did you guys recognize him? That's Grady, the former caretaker of the Overlook Hotel from The Shining.
Ooh, yeah. Very good. He's moved up in life. I appreciate him now.
They're looking at all this food, and there's like stupid fucking eyeball soup. Weird.
Yeah, they really go out of your way to like give you shock value on this food that these grotesque foreigners are eating and like just loving.
Yeah, and for whatever reason. Like, I don't understand. Just like somebody like halfway around the road be like, see, Bob, I told you, the savages, I say. Like, whatever.
This is like a 4-minute scene of nothing. And in my notes, I have a beautiful little line. Because when I saw this kid, he reminded me of Atreyu from the Neverending Story. And I was like, holy shit. He's finally speaking up to save us from the nothing.
That's pretty good. There's a legitimate, interesting conversation between the gentleman from England, the Prime Minister, and Indiana Jones, going about how everything's kind of coalescing at the moment between the countries and everything. And just like every 2 seconds, we jump back into some just gross-ass food and some fat-ass trying to shove it in his face. Oh, and Willie just being a bitch.
I'm so hungry, I don't want to eat this eyeball soup. Bitch, eat it.
Yeah. Monkey brains. Ah!
They were chilled monkey brains, so I bet they were scrumptious.
Scrumptious. Mm.
But during this conversation, the Maharaja, who is a child, that we've mentioned, maybe, if I had to guess, like 10, 11 years old, a little bit older than Short Round, jumps in and says that they're all talking about the Thuggee, which was a cult that worshipped Kali and did human sacrifices to gain power based on an ancient evil or some shit like that. The Maharaja says that he'd heard stories about them, but he actually recently found out that they were once real, the Thuggee. And, yeah, that's some little foreshadowing. A little drop of foreshadowing. 10 minutes later, Indy was trying to smash.
Yeah, well, can we talk about this, please?
Yes.
It's the most awkward thing I've ever seen two grown adults.
I really don't
trying to
want
get it done.
This was so fucking funny because like he immediately says one word, and Short Round goes, and you know, I'm just paraphrasing here. He's like, "Give me the deets afterwards," and Indy's like, "Oh, well, probably."
Gross. So he goes to check on her. Really, the excuse to go see her is he's going to bring her some fruit. Just a fruit tray, like an apple, whatever. Because she didn't need anything.
The banana. I gotcha.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know where I'm going.
He gives her 2 apples and he's like, "You want the banana? It's in my pocket."
So, of course, they start flirting, and they're both trying to smash. They just...
Flirting.
Come on.
It's like who's gonna cave first because they both have like standards or some bullshit. The whole spiel though that Indy gives is fucking legit. Talking about some nocturnal activities.
Is that legit? Because that's
is
fucking
it legit?
Gross.
Because I was just like, what is this?
I was grossed out literally the entire time they were talking.
About some primal sexual rituals, and I was just like, damn, this dude's got it going on.
I would just like get to the fucking point. You're an adult. Who cares?
Yeah, just but they gotta have all these euphemisms.
Back to your room and give Short Round a high five. That's what happens. Or
Indy, what happened? Smell my fingers, kid.
So yeah, they actually can't succumb to their stubbornness, and there's a little bit of a, I don't know.
It was just a scene where they were just all being obnoxiously whatever, childish about this whole thing. All the while, there's a guy hiding in the shadows of Indiana Jones's room, who probably could have been noticeable this entire time.
Sure.
Dude, he was propped up against a mural like he was part of the mural, kind of like how Alien comes out of the wall. I thought it was kind of cool.
I'm a lamp, I'm a lamp.
But, you know, Indy has to deal with this, and when a problem comes along, you must whip it. Then string it up from a ceiling fan.
Yeah, I was talking to Eric a little bit about this today. How does this happen? Like, as far as physics go, all right, he's got to throw the whip, crack the whip around this guy's neck, and somehow it gets caught in the fan. The fan wraps around the whip. And how long is this fucking whip to begin with?
Enough to lynch that poor man because, damn.
It picked him up even. That's a strong fucking connection to the ceiling that fan had.
Yeah.
That dude was pretty big.
And this is like, when does this take place? The late 1940s?
35.
Oh, that early. Yeah, like, what are they mounting that in there with? Really?
Pure hatred for that man. I mean...
They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah, not at all. I really like the next scene. It made me laugh out loud. When Indy goes busting back into the Diamond Doll's room.
And she's not like, saying a word.
God. He's like drenched in sweat and heading right at her. And she's like, "Oh, be gentle with me." Like,
she's like, "What's happened?" He was eaten.
Oh no! Esteban was eaten.
Yeah.
Was it chewed? Swallowed.
Swallowed.
Indy finds a secret passage by seeing a breeze and then groping on a statue's titties to discover.
On your titties.
Man, now I gotta cut that.
Yep. Sorry about that. So they go through the secret passage, and it's a little crypt, and there's a sign that tells you to follow the footsteps of Shiva, whatever the hell that means. But
And then Indiana Jones is like, "That's a sign, not a cop. This way, kid."
But yeah, you see a crypt with a secret passage with a crypt, you gotta follow it.
But yeah, it's kind of his thing. That's what he does. He reads tombs. So
They should have given him a different name then.
So they get inside there and they're going through all these little shenanigans, and then they get trapped because Mr. Booty Trap has already been setting off every fucking booty trap he comes across.
Hey, what's the name of that restaurant you like with all the shit on the walls?
Booty Trap.
Oh.
But yeah, like in the middle of all this, suddenly they're in this particular situation where they're about to be crushed to death, and the only person in the whole wide world that can save them is unfortunately
A dumb bitch?
Billy. And it's annoying.
She is awful with the screaming. It's just so shrill that it hurts.
Shrill's a good word, yeah.
But I really did enjoy the fact that that thing coming out of the ceiling to crush them looked like one of the things that would come down out of the ceiling on Mario to crush you.
Oh yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I was like, damn, they're in Super Mario World for real.
So that's why he was at the banquet. Holy shit.
So she has to get over her fear of bugs and find a switch to whatever, and then she drops a fucking lamp, re-triggers it, and they have to like dash out. Indy's hat falls. He grabs it because fuck that, and he's not leaving his hat behind. And then there's suddenly, somehow in this really bad CGI cave that leads to a still active temple where everyone's doing hot yoga.
No, damn it. Alright, after that, they should have just let her die. Just fucking toss her back to the bugs. But after they get out of there, they end up stumbling on an Iron Maiden concert.
Now, I see what she did there.
Yeah, you even got like Eddie up there. Yeah, it's actually a thuggy ceremony. It's very if you couldn't grasp that.
Yeah, like they start to see some kind of ceremony, and you got Bruce Dickinson over there, some whack ass fucking headdress, just trying to like tear people's hearts out and whatnot. This is where the movie tonally changes completely. Like,
absolutely, this is suddenly like
this is almost at 1 hour, like half the movie. It was pretty lighthearted. We're having a good time. She's annoying, but whatever. Indiana Jones is here. Try and smash. Anyways, this guy gets his spiritual heart ripped out of his chest in one of the most brutal moves in cinema history, and then he's just dunked in this like crucible volcano of lava thing, burned alive, and as he's getting dumped in, the heart that was ripped out catches fire, just to let you know that, hey, he done fucked it.
It blew my mind, like whenever he rips dude's heart out, that he's still alive, like no adverse effects, and then it pans over to show those fucking war boys from Mad Max, and it's like, what are these guys doing?
Oh, nuts.
Yeah, like you were saying, there's a lot going on in this movie that it's like, what the fuck, but at the same time, you can't stop watching because it's good. It's a good movie.
It's actually pretty shocking. Like that whole scene, just like, oh my god, this is PG? No fucking way.
Was it PG? Really?
This is PG. This is before, like, PG-13 didn't exist until 88, 89.
If you notice, they don't show the actual heart removal. He reaches in and he's got it, and then it's in his hand. There's not like the...
I like how the organ removal was implied.
Yeah. After they burn this dude up and they bring him out and the cage is all empty, they have the little glowing stones and they put them in the Kalima skull, and it's like a fucking jack-o'-lantern of doom. I laughed.
Yeah, it was basically just like a DVD shelf shaped like a skull. That's all it's there for.
But this is the moment where you really, I mean, I'm sure there were a few before this, but right here, as he gets lowered down to his death, you get 2 successive Wilhelm screams. And I don't know how many you all got, but there are quite a few Wilhelm screams in this movie. I don't know what your count was.
It's fucking over the top.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I dig it. I personally love hearing it in movies when it's used cleverly. So, I mean, I counted 4 times in this movie that it was used. So.
Oh, I've got definitely more than that.
Make it 5.
Yeah, there's 2 right there, 2 in succession, and then from the bridge, there's just so many all over the place, just for no reason, or for, I guess, some reason.
First of all, sound effects cost money.
Hey, get that dude screaming again. So the Iron Maiden concert breaks up. Hot yoga has let out for the day. Everyone's dispersing out to do whatever. And
Get drunk.
Exactly. Indy wants to go get them stones.
And while they're sitting there, they're watching all this. Man, these bitches are loud. If you're watching all this, you're probably trying to be a little bit quiet. But no, Willie and even Short Round are just shouting like, come on, man.
He pulls Short Round back from the ledge twice. Because he's over there like, Andy, look!
He's like, you little shit, shut the fuck up. Toss him over.
But she says, all this adventuring and whatever is going to kill you. Maybe. But not today. And fucking whip swings into jewel theft.
I mean, it was pretty badass. Like, that's like a total Indiana Jones moment where he whips out, his whip and just whips into frame. I don't think I said whips enough.
Whips. So,
Whips.
I will say that there's a bit coming up that made me question. So, he's hearing some screams and he goes over to discover that some children are being, that's where the children are being held.
Some children. There's like fucking hundreds.
It's a Nike sweatshop. I get it.
Oh.
Don't sue us, Nike, please.
So we know, then Indy swooshes in and tries to see what's happening.
Noise. But whenever, he's doing that, Short Round and the Diamond Doll get grabbed up. And Short Round double kicks the fuck out of one of the baddies. Like, I don't know if you guys caught that, but he's really laying into him. Like, he double kicks the fuck out of that guy.
Maybe it was just in his contract to just, go fisticuffs and try to beat up as many henchmen as possible.
Maybe. I mean, or like that kid was just really feeling the moment. He's like, these are bad guys. Kick them.
But I feel like at that moment, okay, child slavery is bad. We got you. But he could have totally just got out of there. Easily.
But instead, he decides to throw a fucking softball-sized stone into the back of this dude's head. And the dude just takes it like it's nothing.
Is it that huge dude later on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that absolute unit? Yeah.
Like, he's not even trying to, do damage, really. He's trying to get his attention. That's what it's doing.
I mean, he looked like Captain Ahab or something. Dude was giant.
I don't know what Captain Ahab looks like.
Or, no, the dude from the Captain of the Nautilus. That guy.
I don't know what he looks like.
Sean Connery?
Try fucking again.
I'm a Russian submarine commander.
Alright. Absolute unit of a man.
Alright, I know what that guy looks like.
Then we're treated to Quan Chi after Indy gets captured, giving away his plot, his plan, like a good villain.
Which one is he? I don't recognize anyone else by names.
He's the dude with the shit on his face. The red streak. Looking like Quan Chi from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, the guy that had the fucking skull and antlers on his head at the beginning. Is that him? Yeah. Not at the beginning, but at the beginning of the Iron Maiden concert.
Yeah, Bruce Dickinson.
No, that's fucking Brown Marty Feldman. All right.
Anyways, Jones and Short Round get this moment to bond over a flogging.
Yeah.
And then that's where I always bond with children.
Forced to drink this black blood, which they were warned that would turn them into, zombie slaves.
The black sleep of the Kalima.
Kalima!
But I don't think that black blood is going to quench any thirst. But you know what does?
This jet black heart from Brewdog Brewing Company. Oh, Lord.
God damn, that sounded good.
That did some things. This is a 4.7% alcohol by volume. What do they describe it as? It's some kind of stout. I don't know. I'm going to pour it and find out. Oh, that's fucking it. This is some bullshit. You can leave this in. Brewdog Brewing Company, you are some bullshitters. This is a 12-ounce can. This is a goddamn 12-ounce can. I just want to let you know, it actually lists 9.6 fluid ounces on the can. Fuck you guys.
Wait, so it's just like 3 ounces of nothing?
Yeah, I thought it felt light. I really did. I mentioned to Cody, I was like, this doesn't feel right.
What the fuck? Do they make
It's
bags
bullshit.
of chips too?
All of it.
But I poured it, and it only comes up to like 2/3 of my glass. 9.6 fluid ounces of 4.7% alcohol by volume. Get the fuck out of here.
Man, Chandler's a mean drunk.
I like it.
I've had one beer.
He's
One
also
beer, then Roadhouse.
All right. As far as the actual quality of this beer goes, got a lot of coffee notes to it, a little bit of vanilla, really dry. It's not the least bit sweet. Really smooth. It's fine, but I'm still pissed off that it's only 9.6 ounces.
See, I didn't get a beer today, but as I was checking out, because it was grocery day, in line, someone had put 4 large cans of Foster's in the Red Bull refrigerator, and I opened it and took one out, and I was like, what the fuck? I don't know if you guys have ever held a Foster's can.
Oh yeah.
But goddamn, it's big as shit.
Yeah, it's like it's as wide as like a Dinty Moore can.
Dude, it was like big. I just held it and was like, I don't think I could drink a fucking Foster's. That's an investment.
I mean, that's what Australia's known for.
Big
Investments. Yeah, it's like you get a can of that, it's like 3 normal cans of beer, and it's disgusting, so you have to go with that.
Drink it till it tastes good.
Just like my dick.
All 9 ounces.
Indiana Jones. Oh no, T-bone.
So, after that, after I drank the blood of the Kali Ma and my life has become a nightmare.
You said it so nonchalant, like, so.
I'm just kidding. My life has been a nightmare.
Indy does his best impersonation of turning into a werewolf. He's like, ah!
I'm pretty sure that chest hair was already there.
I mean, he's not full Robin Williams, you know, halfway there.
He's like just like growling and twisting up. I was like, come on, man.
I don't know. He wasn't really doing much. He was doing something like with his arms all retracted with his wrists. Maybe he just had arthritis. I don't know.
Arthritis.
Looking like Timmy from South Park.
Oh.
But we find out from them telling us what's going on, thanks guys, that the slaves are digging for the last 2 stones. There's 5 total stones, and they're digging for the last 2.
Indy is now a flunky of Quan Chi. And I will say this, Indy looking good topless.
Gay.
Now the diamond doll is going to be sacrificed. And I was so confused why only one arm was restrained.
I don't know. She used the other arm just to slap him about or something.
Yeah, she was like caressing him like, Indy, no. And he's like, Mahaha.
Twist, snidely, whiplash mustache.
We get a nice little cut of Short Round over there with his little pickaxe breaking through his chains to... Now, this is where the movie changes from Indiana Jones as the main title to Short Round as the main title.
I mean, they're all in the adventure together at this point, but Indiana Jones is a little bit of, consumed with whatever zombie-itis.
Yeah, Short Round is honestly, from here on out, Short Round is the hero of this picture.
100%. Like, Indiana Jones takes a step back while Short Round saves the day at least 3 times for the rest of the film.
And at this point, I'm like, I don't really care if she dies or not. I'm kind of like, let's see where this goes.
Yeah, I was hoping they were going to burn her.
I'm still on board with just kick the bitch out, drop her down,
like
make her one with a volcano.
Maybe Indiana Jones was just playing it up like, oh, I'm possessed, so I can get the fuck out of here. I got to burn her. Sweet.
I kind of thought about that too. Yeah.
They lower her to like a foot above the lava. This chick would have fucking ignited.
I mean, they could have just dunked her in, cue into the Breakfast Club. Perfect.
Yeah, I don't really know why, but before he's about to reach in to Willie's chest and take her heart, he's like, no, Indiana, come over here. Do some stuff. We've got to stop this from happening.
Do some stuff
right now.
I want to watch. But Indy restrains her. They start to lower in the lava, and Short Round arrives on the scene. He's like, Indy, no, I love you. You're my favorite.
You're my best friend.
Indy
It was a sweet moment.
The shit out of him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even wince.
Just smacks him right across the face.
He takes it like Tall Round.
He goes down. He's got tears in his eyes because that's his boy. Not because of the pain, but because that's his boy, you know, because fucking Indy hit him. That means, you know, that hurts him. Not physically, but emotionally. I was watching this with my kid. And so my little boy sees that. And he just kind of looks at me with that face like, oh, man. And then...
You smacked him across the face?
Nah. You know, he burns Indy, and then they team back up, and they're like besties. And you could see, like, I can just watch the excitement grow as they team up back into, like, that, you know, almost father-son dynamic. And he got super into the whole last leg of this.
That's what I said earlier. Like, the last third of this movie is so tight. It's so good. I mean, it's action-adventure at its best. It just took, like, 2/3 of, like, wonkiness to get here.
And during this whole time, Willie's getting, like, lowered and rizzed? Fuck. During this whole time, Willie is getting lowered and then sometimes risen back up out of the caldera. She, you know, she's not really sure. During this whole time, she's surprisingly silent.
I think they just finally wrote in, hey, passed out. Man, the movie got a lot better.
Please shut up, let the movie.
Things are happening, do not interrupt. Please turn your cell phones off, all that nonsense.
But yeah, absolutely, Short Round is the big hero here, and I'm really glad that we got to see a second installment of his adventures once he moved to Astoria, Oregon.
This guy.
It's all about that truffle shuffle. I see what you're doing.
He's trying to get Quan Chi. Quan Chi has a secret escape route. Man, disappears. Fucking Indy saves old girl, and on begins the next little adventure piece where it's Short Round and Indy fighting everybody.
Fighting around the world.
Yeah, let's get out of here. All of us. And Indy goes in there doing his best Abraham Lincoln, freeing the slaves.
Now, you saying freeing the slaves, I was losing my shit as these little kids were trying to run by and these grown fucking dudes with those cat of nine tails were smacking them. They weren't trying to grab them, they were just hitting them on the way out like, fuckers!
Like, hey, get back here.
And then, you can't do that, that's illegal.
You know, Harrison Ford does this great recreation, you know, of, like, not even really a recreation, but just, you know, a Blade Runner-esque scene where he's getting beat up by this large dude, because the dude's even tossing him around and hitting him, and he's going, It's just, it looked just like the fucking scene from Blade Runner.
I mean, it's just like the scene from Raiders where he's versus that huge Nazi next to the plane, except this time, I don't know, not a Nazi.
We don't know. He could be a Nazi. Secret Nazi.
Anytime that he would get, like, the upper hand against the fucking large, you know, what'd you call him, the unit?
Anytime, the absolute unit.
Absolute unit.
Abso unit. He would immediately get stricken down by this evil shithead kid who had a voodoo doll of him.
By the way, why is there a voodoo doll?
Because it's cute.
This is India. This is not West Africa. This is not Haiti. This is not even Louisiana. This is India. Why is there a voodoo doll?
First of all, do we need your discussion on geography again? They don't care.
I think we do.
Oh, you two guys.
Steven Spielberg is like,
it just
whatever.
Insults my intelligence is all.
Finally, Short Round gets over there and beats the shit. Well, actually, he doesn't even beat the shit. He, again, burns this child with fire. Because apparently, you know, why not? And that's,
I guess excruciating pain just kind of like unlocks that whole thing or whatever.
Yeah, and that's the Maharaja, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure that's the same child. Had the same voices before.
Yeah.
You
can tell he's the king because he doesn't have shit all over him.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Oh, this guy. The fucking, you know, he burns him. Kid falls down. That's just the advantage that Indy needs to throw this dude into, you know, a stage fatality. This fucking flower grinder from hell.
Yeah, so his scarf gets stuck in like that little roller thing, and he gets flattened out.
And they do this, since it's PG, they do this really cool thing to where it's like his hands going down, like, oh no, and then like just a sample of blood coming around to let you know he got smushed to death, and then it cuts away.
Yeah, just a blood smear on that roller ball.
And everyone just like, ooh.
Now,
and then you can tell it's classic Indy coming up because the music gets loud and it gets dun, 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 it gets
that. Yeah, and he just runs around punching people, just like whatever.
This is also where I got super excited because they jump into a fucking minecart.
On this, I actually get a little motion sensitive. I had to look away a little bit because of all the juts back and forth on the little cart. Yeah, it was.
I don't know. I think this is the best part of the movie. It's fantastic. It's such a blast. It's so, I don't want to say classic over and over, but damn, it's so fucking fun.
It really is. It made me wish that I could go to an amusement park. Or, maybe, MGM Studios or whoever at the time, Universal, people who did the big, movie rides and just maybe get a sample of this because it looked so fun.
Yeah, it really kind of looks like a roller coaster.
I feel like a lot of the effort of the movie went towards this because you have, like, practical stuff, you have, like, rear projection, you have miniatures all in one shot, and it's amazing.
Definitely the highlight of the film for me. It's got jokes, it's got action, it has actual suspense. It's super fun. My favorite little joke was when he was like, shortcut, and then fucking Short Round goes, yes, Indy? He goes, no, shortcut.
One of my favorite bits is in that too, is where like the second card of like enemies rolls up beside him, and they point the gun at him. And then Indiana Jones just takes the gun because they're so close, just yoink.
Yeah.
And
then he starts hitting him with it.
Oh, it was really good. And then, unfortunately, they release water.
Yeah, they try and flood the tunnels.
And at this point, Indy and the crew, the gang, are at the end of the tunnel with their cart and whatever. And he stops the joint because the brake release snaps off, so he stops it with his foot. And all that friction is like burning the rubber, and he's basically on fire. He's like, water, water, water.
Now, this was the only time in the movie I cringed, was whenever they run out of this tunnel to escape the tsunami coming down the way there, the deluge heading for them, and they go on either side of this wall. The CGI here is so dated that it just hurt to look at.
It's not terrible, but we'll talk about some bad stuff later. But I see what you're saying. Like, the whole compositing thing's a little rough. You know? Kind of like that matte painting at the beginning when they landed on the ground in that little inflatable thing. You see, like, the plane crash in the background, and it changes colors.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the plane crash. It looks real bad.
I mean, they tried. It's cute. You know, it's good stuff.
I mean, whatever. It's nothing that I couldn't get past. But this, to me, was an important scene, especially since they show the super bad CG, and then immediately show, like, wide shots, or not wide shots, close shots of, like, practical effects that look absolutely stunning, and then they would cut back to the wide shot of this bad CG, and I was like, no, stop it.
I'll save my grievance for a little later. Like, it'll be well deserved.
So they climb up. They decide to make their big getaway here.
Yeah, they climb up and everything, and Short Round and Willie, they escape across this like little rope, this very long rope bridge and everything, and Indiana kind of like tries to stave off all the folks that are still trying to chase him above ground.
This is such a great scene. Now, while Short Round's doing his thing with the diamond doll, it's whatever, maybe a cheap chuckle when he falls through the bridge. No one cares.
He says it's no joke. It's not funny.
But there is a really good throwback scene.
Oh, yeah.
So in the first movie, there was an ad-libbed bit about this gentleman with a scimitar coming at Indiana Jones in the middle of a crowd, swinging it away, getting ready to attack him, and Indy just like, I got a gun. Bang. It's over. And in this one, it harkens back to that in the complete opposite way. So it's almost like he's had this shtick his entire life, and he reaches for his gun. Not there. Remember? It's probably laying on the road somewhere in the middle of China.
Exactly. But he even does the thing, like when he reaches for it and he sees it's not there, he looks back up at the guys and shrugs like, fuck it.
Guess I'm going to have to do this one by hand.
You got me. So they tinker around a bit, and the sword's flailing. He even uses his whip, whips off a guy's sword, and I think the guy just falls over and dies, really. It's probably of embarrassment.
And then Indy stops right at the camera and goes, "Oh!" and turns around and starts running the other way as, as a Monty Python scene begins.
I was thinking more like fucking Captain Jack Sparrow. It reminded me a lot of that.
Okay.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah.
With all the bad guys now chasing him, he gets onto the long rope bridge, and at the far end is Quan Chi, who is now captured once again Short Round and the Diamond Doll.
And this is probably, besides like the cool action bit with the trolley and everything, one of the best scenes in the movie. Because you have, on one end of the bridge, tons of goons, other end of the bridge, tons of goons, plus, people being kidnapped, and Indy's in the middle with a sword, just trying to do the math in his head, like, what are his options? And you could just see everything just flowing through his mind. He's like, can't do this, can't do that. You know what I'm gonna do?
I'm a head out.
Again, yeah, exactly. That's his thing or whatever. So instead of like having to hand the stones over, he just takes it all with him and just chops at the bridge until it splits down the middle.
Oh, hold on, lady. We going for a ride.
This bridge scene looks so good. It's been fucking years since this movie's come out, and this movie, not the movie, and this scene still looks so fucking cool when the bridge breaks in half and everyone's just plummeting.
Because it's not computer generated, like it's just dummies, and it looks the best.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Practical effects, people. Fucking practical effects.
And there are several more Wilhelm screams here, by the way. Several.
Well, you gotta keep the guy in business.
They fall down there into some alligators, which I guess they didn't want to afford crocodiles. So.
I love how, like, as soon as somebody touches the water, hard cut to somebody getting ripped to shreds.
Like, every time you see the gator, it's always got clothes. There's not, like, a body part or any substance to the clothing. It's just clothing.
It's because they ate them.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying.
Just immediately gulp.
Now, this
He was eaten!
This was the only scene that confused me in the sense of, like, come on, man. So, on one side, Indy was getting chased by a bunch of dudes with swords. On the other, it was the one fella's, he's got to climb up and escape. Well, suddenly, on one side of the fucking canyon, we'll just call them the Bloods, all have bows and arrows all of a sudden. They didn't have shit. It showed them all. They were just standing there with scimitars, and then boom, all of a sudden, they all have fucking bows and arrows.
And thankfully, they are stormtroopers.
Oh man, they are so bad. It's almost like they all shot at once and they landed all in the same area, just 10 feet away from everybody.
And these arrows look and sound like the cheapest fucking arrows that you can find.
It's like someone took a handful of them, just like, eh.
Yes.
Well, like we tried.
Tina from Bob's Burgers was throwing arrows.
And like everybody who's left on the bridge, you have the main bad guy. I'll just call him Bruce Dickinson again. Got Short Round Willie up top, and you also have Indiana Jones just kind of hanging there with one or two other dudes just kind of like hanging for their lives.
And only two people think to climb, the main baddie and Indiana.
Well, I mean, the first guy tried to climb up and immediately broke one of the pieces and fell to his death.
Yep, you're right, because as soon as he fucking grabbed that first plank, it was balsa wood and exploded.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, the foam one. Ah.
When did we put that there? So, yeah, the bad guy's trying to get the stones back from Indy. Indy's dropping the stones in the river. He actually saves one during this process, and what exactly happens there?
Well, hang tight. You didn't mention the bad guy and Indy, they catch up to each other after a little bit, but then Indy starts to like do some kind of like voodoo or whatever verse.
Yeah, it's a tug of war over the satchel with the stones in it.
And the stones are getting pretty upset about it, and they catch the bag on fire.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "You betrayed Shiva," and I guess invoking the name of Shiva in a righteous way somehow lent power to the stones, and they heated up. And the baddie tries to grab one, and it burns his hand, and he tosses it in the air, and Indy punches him and catches it.
Hey, you know what? Actually, just thinking of that, he had one hand on the bridge, and in that whole hustle, he punched the guy square, had enough time to catch the rock, all at the same time.
Motherfucker like Dracula.
What am I talking about? They fucking fell out of a plane and wound up in India. Fuck it.
Yeah, you're digging too deep here.
Movie's got a movie.
Try to play archaeologist. My bad.
But then we're treated to, I believe, another Wilhelm scream as Bruce Dickinson falls down, eaten alive. He was eaten alive.
Now, this is the moment to where I had a little bit of gripe with, like, the visual effect ain't so hot. Like, not only does he fall down, but the camera follows him as he just kind of pinwheels down, bangs off the side of the cliff a little bit, and winds up as a pile of clothing in the river.
Look,
because
that's pretty rough.
Turns out he was a Jedi. And if you die, you just turn into a pile of clothing.
He's like, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, he was sick on titty milk.
So Indy he climbs his way back up the ladder, up the cliff, and Short Round and fucking the Maharaja and the entire British Army are there with him helping out.
Now, I don't know if you guys caught this, but this is the first documented, case of Bloods versus Crips caught on film. All of the, I guess the Indian Army, they're wearing blue, and all the thuggies are wearing red, and there is, in fact, gang warfare.
And no wonder it lasted this long. After they cut the bridge down, it ended in a cliffhanger.
This dude, I like it.
Please subscribe.
So he gets up to the top, and Indiana laughs, and Short Round laughs, Willie laughs, the toaster laughs. It's all a good time.
I mean, it's a nice moment. Like, besides the whole everybody laughing thing, like when he climbs back up and has the stone in his hand clenched, I'm just like, yeah, he did that. This is nice. All of this was kind of nice.
Yeah. Then they boogie back with their large chocolate Easter egg that someone scratched. The kids come home. Double Brown Doc is there, and he thanks Indy, who grabs Diamond Doll with his whip. They smooch and roll credits.
Da-da-da, da-da-da. Now,
then the elephant's like, "Cool off, you perverts," and squirts water on them.
So, Temple of Doom is usually heralded as the worst of the 3 Indiana Jones movies. It's really not bad at all. I mean, like, it's like saying Raiders is 10, and this is like an 8, whereas the third one, Last Crusade, is like a 9. It's not too far down.
No, it is for sure the worst of the 3. It's not bad. The story itself is good. It's solid. I don't know about an 8. I'd give it a 7.
Well, I was just saying, like, in its own like little universe, it's not bad.
But
like,
it's certainly enjoyable.
It's the movie to get a family in a theater and enjoy a film that has substance, but something for the kids.
Okay, I give it that. It's a kids' movie. Just, people get their hearts ripped out.
I mean, it could have been a much darker tone in this film. Easily. It had all the groundwork for it. You could tell that they were willing to try to push what they can get away with a PG rating.
You can certainly see them trying something new. I mean, narratively, this movie takes place before Raiders of the Lost Ark. So all this happened before the Boulder Run and everything. So they were just throwing ideas at the wall, and this is what stuck, and it's pretty good. Like,
I like this movie a lot.
Yeah, I've said this before, but this is my 3rd favorite of the 3 Indiana Jones movies. But for whatever reason, I come back to watch it more than I do The Last Crusade. Last Crusade is certainly a better movie, but there's a joy that I get from watching this.
It's endearing. It really is, because I know that there's movies out there that people are like, oh, this movie's a 10. Yet someone's going to love that. Like, for me, Bram Stoker's Dracula. You guys were not huge fans. I fucking love that movie just because it's endearing to me.
I would give it that. I would give Temple of Doom endearing, for sure. I mean, you have to suffer a little bit. Like I keep saying over and over, the first half of this movie, a little yuck. But the last half, totally worth it.
It's not even that the first half is bad. Fucking Willie. Big Willie style got to get out of here. Go to Miami or something.
Definitely. Like, they should release a cut where she is just edited out.
Can they just dub her lines with more short round lines?
Yeah, make short round the love interest.
Oh,
no! So that was Temple of Doom, starring Mr. Indiana Jones. And if anybody else has anything on their mind, leave a comment below.
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you tap that bell button if you'd like to know when we've got another one of these episodes brewing.
You could also follow us on all of our different social media outlets on the Facebook, the Twitters, and now Instagram.
We got a new one every Monday. Be sure to tune in. Thanks for listening.